You know, I'm not just a hot take artist when it comes to the Halloween franchise. I've got hot takes galore for pretty much all of them. Today, I want to give you some hot takes for A Nightmare on Elm Street.
She stopped at a light and saw him walking in that field behind the Lost River Drive-In. Julie said he was so creepy.
Hey, what is up everybody? Nick here, and today I want to talk to you guys about A Nightmare on Elm Street. And more specifically, I want to give you guys some hot takes in the A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that A Nightmare on Elm Street is my second favorite horror franchise. I have a ton of love for this series. It is way above Friday the 13th, Scream, all of those for me. The only thing that beats it is Halloween. And that being the case, I've got some strong opinions for this series as well. So I decided you guys really liked the Halloween hot takes videos, so why not give you one for A Nightmare on Elm Street? Let's stir Freddy's pot. Ooh. Now again, I have to preface this, guys, these are just my opinion. I am not saying that this is the objective truth. If you are going to get into an argument with me in the comment section, you are wasting your time because I am not trying to change your mind. I am giving you hot takes that I have for this franchise, and I want to know if anybody else out there agrees with me. So without further ado, let's get right into the hot takes. So my first hot take with this franchise might be my hottest take, and that is, I think the Dream Master is better than Dream Warriors. Now, this is really just a taste thing. You can't, objectively say one is better than the other. We could argue all day about, well, I like this better or I like that better. That's just a waste of everybody's time. For me, I feel like I've felt this way for a long time. I can't tell you the moment where I actually was like, you know what, it is better. But it just kind of happened one day. Now, I would feel like it's not at all a stretch to say that a lot of horror fans have felt pressure over the years to feel like they have to say Dream Warriors is the best. It doesn't have to be your favorite. You don't have to agree with everybody else. And I don't think I ever have. Honestly, The Dream Master isn't even my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's my second favorite. But I still think it's better than Dream Warriors. I understand they kill the remaining Dream Warriors off in the first 15 minutes. I understand that people have problems with the fact that Freddy is resurrected by a dog pissing fire. One, I think Freddy offing the Dream Warriors at the beginning of this movie really sets the stage for the fact that Freddy is not messing around and nobody is safe. Two, the dog pissing fire is friggin' metal, dude. I don't care. But The Dream Master is such a gorgeous movie. Now, I know we've talked recently about how Renny Harlin is doing this trilogy for The Strangers, and I don't know where Renny Harlin went, because back in the 80s and 90s, this dude was peak, and The Dream Master is a perfect example of that. I think it's one of the better looking Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I honestly love Lisa Wilcox too. Now, she really comes into her own in part 5, but I quite like her in this one. I also just really like the surrounding cast. It's got some of my favorite kills in the entire franchise, some of the best Freddy moments in the franchise, and the best Freddy vanquishing visually of any of the movies, period. I understand the Dream Warriors is the fan favorite, and the original is the GOAT, but no. For me, the Dream Master is better than both. My next hot take with The Nightmare on Elm Street is, I think the best Freddy Krueger look and performance is A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. This Freddy, there's just something different about him. First of all, the witch nose in this movie, so iconic, and it makes Freddy look more evil. The eyes are gross. They're just grotesque. They look like demon eyes. I love how painful the makeup looks. That looks more like a burn victim to me than part 1. That's just my opinion, but I feel that way. I also think that this Freddy is just not funny. Freddy is truly sick in this movie. He is demented. This is a demon. Sure, he's a dream demon really at the end of the day anyway, but in some of the movies he doesn't feel like it. In some of the movies he feels like a stand-up comedian. Not in this one. This one is the Freddy I would least want to come in contact with, because I don't think he'd even play with his food. I think he would just kill me in very brutal ways. Now, if you're not a fan of Freddy's Revenge, that's totally fine. I'm not trying to change your mind there. But I feel like we have to be able to meet halfway and say, yeah, I may not love the movie, but Freddy is friggin' awesome in this movie. And he is. I think that this is peak Freddy Krueger, and I don't think the franchise has come close since. I'm about to hit you guys with a 1-2 punch of hot takes here that are going to piss so many Freddy fans off, but I'm here for it. And the first one, Freddy vs. Jason is overrated. Now, I know that might be crazy to hear because you're like, what are you talking about? It's Freddy versus Jason in one movie. This was an event. This was a moment in time. You are absolutely right. The fact that these two got together in the same movie was incredible. This is historic. There is a great fight to be had in the third act of this movie. But when I look at this through the lens of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, I am disappointed in a lot of areas. Why? Because Freddy gets the shaft. He gets one kill in this entire movie, though the plot is largely based around him wanting to return. So he's our main antagonist, and Jason is seen as more of like a benevolent force in this movie, yet Freddy doesn't get much to do. He gets some good one-liners and some terrible one-liners as well, but he doesn't get to do much, and that's really disappointing. Now, don't get me wrong, there is some great stuff in here, and I love the nightmare sequence Freddy makeup in this movie. That Demon Freddy is one of the best looks in the franchise. But I cannot deny that every time I watch this movie, I walk away feeling so disappointed because I feel like Robert was so into the role, and you could tell he was so excited to finally be doing this movie. But we don't get to see Freddy do much, and that's a bummer. So it's great that this movie happened, but I honestly feel like it's largely squandered potential. All right, here we go. This is going to be the one for a lot of people. Some of you guys probably already know what I'm about to say, but my next hot take is the remake isn't that bad. Okay, look, I know somebody is commenting right now. Yes, it is. It's the worst horror movie I've ever seen. More power to you. You haven't seen a lot of horror movies then, because I have seen hundreds of movies that are worse than this. That's just a fact. I think a lot of us have. I'm not saying the remake's good. I do have a soft spot for it because I saw it in theaters. I was a teenager and I was happy to see Freddy back. But am I going to put it in my top 5 of the franchise? No. It's not going up there. Don't worry, guys. But honestly, there is a lot to like about it. I like Quentin in this movie. I like some of the kills. I like the dream world. I think that that's where the CGI is actually utilized well. I love Jablonski's score. I actually think this movie has a really cool color palette and look to it. Samuel Bayer, being a music video director, at times can be a headache in the editing room, but visually it can create some really breathtaking images, and I think this movie has some. And they toyed with an interesting idea. Now, they totally dropped the ball on it, which pissed me off from the very first time I saw it, but there was a good nugget there for where 2/3 of the movie you're like, okay, something new. There's also a lot to hate about this movie. The CGI on Freddy Krueger, Rooney Mara's performance, the fact that they didn't stick the landing with that twist. There is a lot that you can nitpick. So at the end of the day, I've always felt that this movie is fine. I have seen far worse remakes, let alone just far worse movies. So I'm sorry, I know a lot of people hate this movie, and I know it's popular to hate this movie, but I really don't think it's that bad. This next one I feel like is like 50-50 with the fan base, but I'm someone that supports this movie. And that take is that New Nightmare rules. Look, it is undoubtedly true that Wes Craven was a couple years too early when making this movie. It wouldn't be until a few years later with Scream that you would see these self-aware meta spins on horror films actually start to take root and become popular. This was a version of that before Scream. You can clearly tell that Wes had some ideas before he went on to Scream. And New Nightmare, I would honestly say, is the only good performance of Heather Langenkamp in this series. She's fine in Dream Warriors. She's not very good in the original. She actually comes across as an actress in this movie. Miko Hughes is good. The idea of treating this like an old school monster movie where you don't see the monster until well into an hour into this movie was a brilliant decision. Now sure, some of the lore here might be a little weird, and some of the CGI probably doesn't age that well, especially with the 4K, we can tell that. But honestly, I think that after Freddy's dead, this was a really good way to relaunch this franchise. It seems very fresh and original. It's not at all what you would expect going into it, but at the end of the day, it still feels like Nancy and Freddy fighting at the end of the movie, even though it's technically Heather and just a demon. I don't know. New Nightmare's always been one I've liked. I feel like I have probably really upset a lot of Nightmare fans tonight, and I apologize for that, but I saved the best one for last. And by best one, I mean probably one that's going to ruffle the most feathers. And that hot take, Jesse's better than Nancy. Now, hold on. I know. Let me just say, Nancy Thompson at the end of the first movie is kind of like a badass. She sets a bunch of traps. She stops Freddy temporarily. Cool, great. Most of the movie, it's not a good performance and she's kind of a milquetoast character, but at the end, she does have her moment. I'll give her that. Dream Warriors, she's really just a side character and she gets offed at the end as like a sacrifice for the Dream Warriors. She's neither here nor there, but it's a better performance. I'll give her that. New Nightmare, she's actually really good. But I think Mark Patton in A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is probably the best final guy or girl performance in this entire franchise. Like, I don't even think that's arguable in my opinion. He can act. This man, his scream, his looks of fear, his ability to like fall apart when he's crying and losing it. Just incredible. These are things that like only a truly good actor can do, and he delivers in spades. I believe his fear. Whereas I don't really feel like I ever got that from Nancy in the first two movies she's in specifically. So if I'm really just going up against the best versus the best, it would be her in New Nightmare versus Jesse in Part 2, and I think that goes to Jesse, and by a decent margin here. Now, I don't want this to come across as me like hating on Heather Langenkamp, because I'm not. I don't have anything against Heather. I don't think she's a bad actress. I just think her first performance in this series is not very good. But at the end of the day, this is just more about Mark Patton. Mark gives a phenomenal performance in that movie, and Jesse is a great character. So I think he's better than Nancy. But I commend you guys if you did not click off, if you made it to the end here after some of those wild takes. Understand, I believe everything I just said there. In my opinion, these things are true to me. They don't have to be true to you, and I cannot prove them beyond a shadow of a doubt, but they're true to me, so I'm going to say them. But I want to know down below if you guys agree with any of the hot takes I said. Do you have any hotter takes? Do you want to see more videos like this? Whatever it may be, chime in down below in the comments section. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching the video. Please make sure to leave a like on it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.